If you are a high school student, or if you are going to start university soon, I hope you listen to this episode until the end. 1 year ago, I was exactly where you are now. I was confused, nervous, and I had so many questions about university. Before I talk about university, I want to start with my high school journey. Many students think high school is very difficult. But is it really that scary? Or do we just hear scary stories about it? First of all, you need to know that I live in Oman, specifically in Muscat. In high school, I studied the science stream. I chose chemistry, physics, and advanced mathematics. My elective subject was music skills. The reason I chose these subjects was simple. In grade 10, I got an excellent grade in physics, and I discovered that I really enjoyed physics and mathematics. I felt they were the right subjects for me. As for chemistry, I also liked. However, it included a lot of memorization, and to be honest, memorizing was never my favorite part of studying. Many people ask me, how did you study? The truth is that every subject is different, and every student has their own learning style. There is no single study method that works for everyone. For subjects that required memorization, I liked listening to the lessons because it helped me remember the information better. For subjects like physics and mathematics, I solved as many questions as possible. I always started with the exercises in the school textbook. If I found a question that I did not understand, I asked my teacher until I fully understood the idea. In the end, I graduated with an excellent grade. But that does not mean everyone should study the same way I did. Every student needs to find the study method that works best for them. What worked for me may not work for someone else, and that is completely okay. So, how did I choose my university? After my first semester results came out, I started applying to universities and international scholarships. Unfortunately, I did not receive an international scholarship. At first, I was disappointed, but I believe that everything happens for a good reason. Looking back now, I think it was the best path for me. Then, I applied for local scholarships. I already knew that I wanted to study engineering, so I focused on engineering programs. Thankfully, I received the STEM Flexible Scholarship. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. This scholarship allowed me to choose any private university in Oman and any major related to these fields. At first, I could not decide between the German university and Muscat University. So, I compared the engineering programs at both universities and looked for a major that really matched my interests. While I was searching, I found the energy engineering program at Muscat University. It was different, and I felt it matched my interests. That was the moment I became more interested in it. In the end, I chose Muscat University. It was not because of the university's name, but because it offered the major I truly wanted to study. For me, choosing the right major was the most important part of making my decision. Before I talk about my foundation year, I want to tell you about an exam I took before I received my university admission results. It was the IELTS, which stands for International English Language Testing System. The IELTS exam has 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Many people think that the speaking section is the hardest, but for me, the listening section was the most difficult. The reason is that the recordings do not always use the same accent. British English is the most common accent in the test, but you may also hear other English accents. This can make some words harder to understand, especially if you are not used to listening to different accents. As for the speaking section, I did not think it was the hardest part. You do not need to speak with a British or American accent. The most important thing is to speak clearly and confidently, use a variety of vocabulary, and avoid repeating the same words too often. For the reading and writing sections, my biggest challenge was time management. These sections require both speed and concentration. That is why I recommend practicing with timed mock tests before your exam day. Finally, there is one important point for every section of the IELTS exam: spelling. For example, in the listening section, you may know the correct answer, but if you spell the word incorrectly, you will not get the mark. So, do not focus only on understanding English. Make sure you also practice writing words correctly. In the end, I got an IELTS band score of 5.0. Before I started my foundation year, we had to take placement tests in English, mathematics, and technology. Because I got an IELTS score of 5.0, I was exempt from the English placement test, so I did not need to take it. However, I took the mathematics and technology placement tests, and in the end, I studied both subjects during my foundation year. The foundation year lasted 1 full year. It was divided into 4 terms, and each term was about 2.5 months long. To be honest, studying was easier than I expected. I also liked the class schedule because it was comfortable and well organized. After the pressure of high school, the foundation year felt like a chance to relax a little before starting my major, which is naturally more challenging. Speaking of the university, one of my favorite things that all the students must complete a mandatory internship in their third year. This gives students the chance to gain real work experience for 9 months and improves their chances of finding a job after graduation. Some people may see it as a disadvantage that the university does not offer a summer semester. At some universities, students can take courses during the summer to repeat a failed course, reduce their workload in future semesters, or even graduate earlier. However, I do not see this as a disadvantage. I think the summer break is a good opportunity to rest after a long academic year or to do a summer internship and gain practical experience. Finally, I believe that grades are not everything. Of course, good grades are important, but practical experience is just as important. I believe that students who have both good grades and work experience will have a stronger future in their careers. Thank you, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. What do you want the next video to be about?